Howdy everybody, David here, and this is another Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition character creation tutorial. And today's tutorial is going to be dealing with creating a fighter at level 1. And we are going to take this fighter on a journey to level 20 through other tutorial videos that will be coming out very soon. Now, the fighter is a front line of your party. It can also be a backline defender. You can also be a heavy, great weapon fighter. You can use 2 weapons. There's all kinds of different options that the fighter has. Now, every class in Dungeons & Dragons and 5e, they all get archetypes. And these archetypes are flavors that add on top of the base class. Like, the fighter gets a lot of base skills, and then you can choose the 3 different fighting styles that are currently out for D&D 5e, which are the champion. The champion you can see in the free basic rules on the free PDF download from the Wizards website. It's also in the player's handbook, and then in the player's handbook you can also check out the Battle Master and also the Eldritch Knight. So for this character, we are going to be going Eldritch Knight. I want to do a very unorthodox type of fighter for this character. Now, your primary stat for a fighter is strength and con, hands down. But we are going to be substituting strength for dexterity. And you'll see the reasons why in just a second. So whenever I choose my class, whatever class I want to make, I always choose my race as well. And I want to try to maximize the most damage that I can with this fighter, because I'm going to be going defensive, and I'm going to be using a finesse weapon and a shield. While at later levels, at level 3 when I get to choose my archetype, I'll be going with the Eldritch Knight. So, as you can see, it is a very unorthodox type of placement of my stats. Now, also, there's some pros and there's some cons to doing this. The pros are these. You will be wearing light armor. You're going to be able to get maximum efficiency out of your dexterity modifier stat. You're not going to have, another nice bonus is you're not going to have disadvantage on stealth checks like the other fighters will in medium and heavy armor. Now there's a drawback as well. The drawback is if a very nice two-handed weapon drops, chances are you're not going to be able to use it. Well, you can use it, you'll be proficient with it, but you won't have the bonuses for your strength like you would because we're putting everything into dexterity. So we're also going to be going the soldier background. The soldier background fits this type of fighter that I want to make. And he was an officer in the wars versus the orcs prior to becoming an adventurer. So we'll go ahead and get started with first the stat appointments. The ability stat point placement that I chose. I went with a 27 point buy that's in the player's handbook or the free basic rules. I chose a 15 dexterity, 15 constitution, and 15 intelligence because going with the Eldritch Knight, I'm putting a third stat into the mix, intelligence, because the intelligence is what my spell save DC and my spell attack is going to be based off of. So no strength, plus 15 dex, plus 15 con, plus 15 intelligence, and strength, wisdom, and charisma all will be at 10 with 0 modifiers. Now, seeing that I chose the human to go with my fighter, you have 2 choices that you can do. You can do +1 to all stats, which is cool and all, but if your dungeon master allows you, if he or she allows you to take the optional type of stat placement, you can do 2 ability scores at +1. You'll get an extra proficiency in a skill of your choice and a feat at level 1. So I've decided to go ahead and use the optional human variant for placing stats and whatnot. So they're going to get 30 feet movement. The languages are common and one other of your choice, so I chose Elvish, and they're medium. So let's go ahead and check out where I put my 2 points at. The first point I put into was dexterity. It took me from a +2 at a 15 to a 16 and +3, and the same thing with constitution. Now, I plan on maxing out dexterity at 20, and I also plan on maxing. I actually plan on maxing Constitution out as well, because I want a lot of hit points for this guy. I'm trying something totally different, and I think it will work well. So you'll see this in the other videos. Now, I also chose, as a background, you get your soldier. There's a lot of things that you get. So, for instance, you're going to get 2 proficiencies, and with the soldier, which is in chapter 4, I believe, you can choose your backgrounds. I'm opening my book now, which I should have probably had it open before. Alright, so the soldier, officer, that's my specialty. You can see that I chose my personality traits, ideals, bonds, and flaws, and you can do that randomly by rolling dice, or you can just choose whatever you want. Sometimes your DMs will make you roll, but if they allow you to choose, just choose them. Cater the character to your liking. Now, also as a soldier, I got athletics and intimidation as proficiencies, skill proficiencies, and we'll talk about proficiencies and the universal proficiency system in just a minute. So as you can see, athletics and intimidation. Now, I also got a tool proficiency, and I chose the dice gaming set. And then equipment, I got rank insignia. I got an enemy dagger from one of my enemies that I have slain. I did get a set of bone dice, which will go with my dice gaming set. I got common clothes and a belt pouch with 10 gold. Now, in D&D 5e, you have several things that you can do for starting equipment. Now, if you want to, the fighter will have a 5d4 times 10 for starting gold. But if you do this, you have to buy everything yourself. But seeing that I'm going with the background and class, starting equipment, I will not have to do that, and my soldier gives me the 10 gold. So I just did not do the rolling. I didn't want that hassle, just in case I rolled bad and I couldn't afford to buy my weapons and my armor and stuff. I just went ahead and took the free stuff. So, alright, so that's pretty much everything with the background. Now, let's go ahead and talk about proficiency. Proficiency in D&D 5e is universal for every single character, every single class. It doesn't matter what class it is. Every class starts at a +2. Now, your +2 proficiency bonus at level 1 affects multiple things. It will affect your proficiency in saving throws for a class. It will affect your skill checks. It will affect your spellcasting DC. It will affect your spellcasting attack bonus, and it will also affect your attack bonuses for melee weapons. So that's what it affects. It affects a multitude of things, and it starts at 2 and will eventually go to a +6 at level 16. So the higher level you get, the more to hit you're going to get naturally with everything. Really nice. Now, we went ahead and I took, like I said, I raised dexterity. Now, dexterity is pretty much it's a very powerful stat in D&D 5e. We went over the pros and cons of dexterity. I just won't be able to use, two-handed weapons, which is no problem. I've decided to go with the rapier. The rapier is a finesse weapon, and it's literally going to give me a +5 to hit. Just like if I would have started with a 16 strength and used a longsword. But the rapier allows you to use either strength or dex. That's what the finesse tag does. And for my damage, I will be 1d8 +3. Now, take into consideration, your proficiency bonus does not affect your damage on anything. It does not. So do not add your proficiency in. Your proficiency only affects 2 hit for your attacks. All right? Hit points started. I started with 13 hit points. That's a base of 10. You start at max. Constitution's +3. Now, you will get to either do one of two things. You can take the flat roll. Well, if you're Dungeon Master, they make you do the roll. You can do the 1d10, or you can go ahead and take the static of, I believe it's a 6 for the fighter. I'm just going to go to the fighter section real quick, and I do believe it is. So yes, it is a 6. So if you level up, once I get to level 2, which is what I'm going to be doing, taking the flat 6, then you'll do 6 plus your con. Hit dice heals work like this. A short rest is 1 hour. Once you have a short rest, you can expend your hit dice to heal yourself up. It works sort of like healing surges did in 4th edition with a short rest. But in 5th edition, you will roll a 1d10 and add in your constitution modifier. You can do this a number of times to your level. So if you're level 1, obviously you can do this 1 time. Level 5, you can do it 5 times. Level 10, you can expend 10. Now, when you expend these, you're going to have a long rest to get these back. And if, we'll just say, for instance, you're level 10, you had a couple big battles, and you expended all of your hit dice heals, you have none left. So you get a long rest, and you will get back half of your expended hit dice. So you'll get back 5. So there's a lot of people really don't know that rule, and I didn't at first either until I reread it. So whenever you get a long rest, you will get back half of your expended hit dice. So I've gone ahead and pre-done this to where you can see that I have a +2, even though I have a 0 strength modifier for my saving throws. Remember, anything that you're proficient in that is represented by the black dots will get an additional +2, and they will scale up depending on what level that you become. Speed 30 feet. Our armor class is really high at level 1 is 17, and this is with leather armor. So let's take a look on how we got 17 armor class. First off, the leather armor is a base of 11. You are allowed to add in your max dexterity modifier when you're using any kind of light armor. So we added in the dexterity bonus of +3 to take us to 14. We are also going to be using a shield, which is adding another +2. That takes us to a 16. Now, to go with our class features for fighter, level 1, you get a level 1 fighting style. There are 5 or 6 to choose from, and they cater to the different types of ways a fighter can spec, whether it be 2-weapon fighting, great weapon for two-handed, defensive, and I chose the defense, which gives another +1 to AC. That's how we got the 17 armor class. Really cool. And plus, we're going to have just as much armor as anyone else, probably if not more than another level 1 fighter, and we're not going to have any disadvantage on stealth checks, which is really cool. You can actually be pretty sneaky. Now, all of the other saving throws have already been figured out, all of the other skill checks. The fighter is proficient in strength and constitution saving throws. You can see those have already been added. And also, they get to choose 2 more skills from acrobatics, animal handling, athletics, history, insight, intimidation, perception, and survival. So I went ahead and chose 2 more of those. And as a human, I took the optional, human starting stats, and I took my 1 extra skill proficiency and added that in as well. You can see that I started with a rapier, I started with a longbow. That's going to give me a +5 to hit, 1d8 +3 for damage. Those all do, all my weapons, daggers I substituted the hand axes, the throwing axes for daggers, because I am going dexterity based. So I did take a couple daggers at +5 and 1d4 +3. So that's basically the fighter at level 1. Now, another class feature that you're going to get is Second Wind. And Second Wind basically works on a bonus action, and it's basically a heal. It's an in-combat heal. You can use it any time, and it just, like I said, it just takes the bonus action, and it'll heal 1d10 plus the fighter level that you are. So it'll be at level 1, 1d10 +1. Pretty nice free heal. And it will reset after a short or long rest. And then for my last human bonus, I took my feat. Now, I took Savage Attacker. And what Savage Attacker does is, if you don't like your roll for your damage roll, you can re-roll it, and you can take either result, which is really nice. So you can basically just roll. It's basically rolling with advantage, basically. You roll twice, take the best result. And it's not like a lot of other features where you have to take that result the second roll. Savage Attacker lets you take either or. Really nice, really cool. So you're not stuck with the second roll, basically. Now that's everything with the fighter at level 1. I will see you guys in another video. I did take the rest of my equipment as well. I did take an Explorer's pack, and I will add that on right now. So that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Sorry everything was already pre-filled, but I did the video once with no sound, so I decided to not do that again and just kind of give you the short rundown. But in the end, this character will be level 20, and the next video will be level 2 to 5. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please feel free to leave a comment down below. Also subscribe to the channel, and if you need a D&D character from 5th edition, I have over 840 character sheets to choose from on my website, tabletopping.net. There will be a link down below. They're all on these nice Dungeons & Dragons sheets from Wizards of the Coast, all the 3-page PDF formats, so you can download them to your iPod, your tablet, print them off on your computer, and anyways, there you go. Thanks a lot, guys, and I'll see you for the level 2 to 5 video next. Take care.